What's up, guys? So Chapter 7, the finale of the Book of Boba Fett is here, and if you haven't watched it yet, spoilers, obviously this is a breakdown video for it. 3, 2, 1, Boba riding the Rancor, Boba versus Cad Bane, Boba and Mando flying around in jetpacks, Grogu's return to Mando, Chrysanthemum, the Vespa Gang, Fennec Shand, the Pikes, Cad frickin' Bane. Alright, let's get into all of it right now. So we start the episode with Boba and Fennec showing up to the ruins of the sanctuary, which was the cantina in Mos Espa, and it has been blown up by the Pikes, as we remember from the end of last week's episode. Boba's worried through this war that Mos Espa is going to get destroyed, and he wants to keep his people safe and keep his city intact. So he doesn't want the city to be destroyed in the war. He doesn't want that at all. He wants to keep his people safe and keep the city intact. That is a very big thing throughout this episode. He's very worried about all this war and violence and the Rancor showing up and the Droideka showing up, destroying the whole city. So he's really trying to contain the fighting and save the city and keep it intact. Then Mando shows up and says that the people of Mos Pelga, which is now Freetown — at first I hated Freetown, but now I'm loving Freetown — are coming to save the day, and they're their reinforcements. Little do they know that Cad Bane showed up and kinda killed the marshal and the deputy of Freetown. Boba asks Mando how much they're going to have to pay the people of Freetown to fight for them, and he says it's for free because the spice is now running through Mos Pelga, and they don't want that, and they want Boba to get rid of the spice. And Fennec says, well, the spice makes us a lot of money, and Boba says, no more spice. Spice is bad, no more spice. Good guy, Boba. Yeah. Boba wants to go to his palace, and the Vespa Gang's like, no, we're staying here. You can't just go out to your castle and leave the people of Mos Espa behind to fend for themselves. We gotta stay here and fight. Boba agrees, and they're going to stand their ground in the ruins of the sanctuary. Got to Cad Bane showing up to Mos Eisley, showing up to the head of the Pike Syndicate. That's where their kind of base is. And he's sitting there with the mayor of Mos Espa. And the mayor's like, hey, look, they're kind of destroying my city. I want the city to stay intact. I don't want this huge war. He's kind of saying the same thing as Boba. They want the city to stay intact, but the mayor doesn't really know that he's not going to be the mayor much longer. But the Pikes tell Cad Bane that they're the ones who killed the Tusken Raiders, not the Nikta Gang, as he thought. He killed the entire Nikta Gang. It was a sick flashback scene of him in the slave one going, and he killed all the Nikta Gang. But it was the Pikes. We get confirmed that it was the Pikes who killed them, and when Boba Fett finds out about this, he's going to be mad. Cut to the title, and then we see an X-Wing flying into Tatooine and R2 in the back. You think that Luke's showing up with Grogu, and I really thought he would, and we'd see the green lightsaber slicing around. But no, it's just Grogu in the cockpit, and he lands in Pelimoto's. Awesome. Back to Boba, Mando, and Fennec in the ruins, and they've spread out their forces to try and get ahead and see where the Pikes are going to strike first. They got Chrysanthemum in one spot, they got the Vespa Gang in one spot, they got the Gamorrean guards in one spot, and then they, of course, got themselves in the ruins of the sanctuary. Boba tells Mando about the truce and how the families are going to remain neutral and not interfere in the war. Yeah, I don't think they know, but that's just not going to be how it goes down. Sorry, Boba. And then Cad Bane shows up out of nowhere with reinforcements from the Pikes, and he's like, hey, Boba, get your butt out here. And they have the first standoff of the day. Cad Bane tells Boba that his reinforcements from Freetown, they ain't coming. He killed Cobb Vanth, and he killed the deputy, and they are not coming. His reinforcements, they don't exist. So he wants to negotiate and just end this war before it even starts. Cad, being the guy he is, wants to get Boba mad and just kill him on the spot. So he tells him that the Pikes are the ones who really killed the Tuskens, and he says, you know it's true. Boba gets really mad, and he's like, I can take him, and Fennec has to talk him down. Cad Bane says, you've gone soft in your old age, and Boba says, we all do. And Cad Bane turns to leave, and a full-on ambush happens on all of Boba's crew across Mos Espa. The families obviously do not care about the treaty anymore, and the Trandoshians attack Chrysanthemum, the Gamorreans get pushed off a ledge, the mods, the Vespa Gangs get attacked, and Fennec has to come and save them. Fennec comes and saves them on her way to Mos Eisley because she's going to find the head of the Pikes and kill him. So she saves the mods and tells them to go back to Boba. We see the Gamorreans fall off a cliff, sadly, R.I.P. Gamorreans. We see Chrysanthemum get attacked by some Trandoshians. We don't know how that ends, but we know that he survives. So, could have gone pretty bad for some Trandoshians, got some arms ripped off, you know, the usual. Cuts back to Boba and Mando, and they're talking about how they're going to go out, and Boba's telling them all about this Kree, and he's like, you really believe in that stuff? And he's like, yeah, I do. I'm going to die for you if that's how it ends. And they do it. They jet back around the building, and it's one of the coolest action scenes in this whole show. They come in on their jetpacks, take out a bunch of Pikes, and they fight back to back, Mando and Boba Fett. It is so cool. But Boba and Mando are pinned down, and it looks like the Pikes are just keep coming, and the people of Freetown come flying around the corner to save the day. They're there to fight for Tatooine. They're there to redeem, to avenge Cobb Vanth and their deputy, and it is the people of Freetown to save the day. The Vespa gang and Chrysanthemum show up, and they have a huge standoff with the Pikes, and they're about to beat them, and the Pikes fall back, and they're like, yeah, we did it. No, you didn't. You didn't. You didn't do it. You didn't do nothing. Droidicas. These droidica-looking droids pull around the corner. These huge droids that's standing above the buildings. They're just these gigantic droidica droids with the force field bubbles around them. It's trouble. It's big trouble time. So they all run for their lives. The people of Freetown and the Vespas and Chrysanthemum, they run one way, and they take one of the droidicas with them, and Boba and Mando go the other way, and they take the other one with them. They're fighting. They're trying to get through it. Mando takes out the Darksabers, trying to get through the force field. Doesn't work. Boba says, I got one more thing up my sleeve, and Mando's like, what do you mean? You don't have any more friends. You're friendless. You got no friends. You're a loser. Boba, you're a loser. You got no friends. Mando was really harsh on Boba in this episode, if you didn't see that deleted scene. But then Mando's just left to run from this droidica by himself, and he runs into Pelimoto and Grogu, and it's the great reunion of Grogu and Din Djarin, and it is so emotionally just destroyed by a droidica. Absolutely destroyed. Their emotional scene is just, boom, gone. And it looks like they're about to die, and Grogu's like, I'm gonna die here. And they're gonna die to this droidica. And then Boba Fett shows up riding a Rancor. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? That scene alone made this episode just unbelievably good. Just Boba riding the Rancor. It was awesome. He tries to take down the droidica. It works. He gets rid of the force field. And then Grogu forces one of the pieces of the leg out. And then the Rancor just finishes it off. Tears it to pieces. And you hear Boba Fett say, do it. But it was awesome. It was awesome. Boba Fett, Palpatine confirmed. Then Boba takes the Rancor over to the other droidica and kicks its ass real quick. And just rips it to pieces. Yay, yay, yay. Droidica's gone. We did it. We did it. No, you didn't do it. You still didn't do it. Cad Bane shows up. Flamethrowers the Rancor, gets him pissed off, throws Boba off his back. And then we get the second standoff of the day between Boba Fett and Cad Bane. And this one does not end without a death. So this fight reminds me a lot of Maul versus Kenobi on the sands of Tatooine in Star Wars Rebels. All the parallels are very similar, and the fights don't last very long, but they are very meaningful and very emotional, and the ends of these two characters' rivalries. Boba gets shot down twice, and Cad Bane, standing above him, kicks his helmet off and says, this looks like the end for you, buddy, teaching you one more lesson. And Boba's got his gaffy stick from the Tusken Raiders, pulls it out, does some sick Tusken Raider moves on Cad Bane, and stabs him right in the heart. Boba's still a cold-hearted murderer. But did Cad die? Did Cad Bane die? Did we see Cad Bane for the first time in live action, and he dies the very next week? There was still that beeping thing on his chest. People will still say that he's alive. People will probably still say he's alive. I mean, I can't see them bringing back Cad Bane into live action and just killing him off that quickly. I could see him maybe being saved by somebody and put him to a back-to-tank. You know, nobody's ever truly gone in Star Wars, as the great Luke Skywalker once said. Troubles aren't over yet. The Rancor is going mad on Mos Espa and being angry. And Mando's like, I can take care of this, so he flies up and almost gets eaten by him, but his Beskar armor saves him yet again. Mando gets tossed to the ground, and the Rancor's standing over him, and Grogu's like, I got this. And a lot like Ezra Bridger, he tames the Rancor. It's very Ezra Bridger-y. So if Ezra and Grogu ever meet, I think they're going to have a very strong connection immediately just through the Force. Grogu's like, that tired me out, so he goes to take a nap with the Rancor. Then we get to Fennec, and she's in Mos Eisley, and she just takes out all the heads of the families that were from Mos Espa, takes out the mayor pretty gruesomely, and kills the head of the Pike Syndicate. The Pikes are gone, the heads of the families are gone, and Mos Espa and all of Tatooine is under Boba's reign. The people of Freetown love Boba. The people of Mos Espa love Boba. I mean, obviously Mos Eisley is the home of scum and villainy, so who knows about them? They're probably not under Boba's reign, but people are bowing down to Boba. They're saying, they're paying their respects. He saved the city. He saved everybody. He is now the crime lord of Tatooine, the whole gosh darn planet. Our episode ends with Mando and his N1 starfighter flying away with Grogu in the back. And he's tapping on the glass. He's like, do it again, do it again, do it again. And he says, all right, fine, one more time. And he goes, punches it into sub-light speed. And Mando and Grogu are off on their next adventure, and that is when we'll see them in Mando Season 3. Who knows where they're going? They could be going back to Mandalore. They could be going back to Bo-Katan. They could be going to the New Republic to check up on Moff Gideon. Who knows? Who knows what's next for them? But there is a second ending in this episode if you did miss it. It is not that exciting, but it is Cobb Vanth survived. Cobb Vanth has survived, and he is in the Bacta tank, and he's going to get some modifications. But he survived. Cobb Vanth has survived. So already I've been seeing a lot of Star Wars fans did not like the episode, and I can tell you why immediately. Your hopes were way too high. I went into it, and I watched it the first time, and I was like, what? That's it? That's it? And then I watched it the second time, I was like, that's it? Oh my god! Boba just rode a Rancor, we got Boba versus Cad Bane, we got Boba and Mando flying around and their jetpacks, we got all the coolest stuff that we ever could want to see. The reunion of Grogu and Mando. It was just epic. But the first time I watched it, I was like, that's it? And it's because we got our hopes up. We wanted to see Crimson Dawn. We wanted to see Kiara. We wanted to see Han Solo. We wanted to see Ben Solo. But we didn't see any of it. We didn't see any of that. And so a lot of Star Wars fans are hanging their heads low and they're saying, what was that? The Pikes were the big bad? Cad Bane? You're looking at it completely wrong. First of all, Boba rode a Rancor and fought Cad Bane to the death. Also, the Pikes were a good enough bad guy. They hired Cad Bane. They had all the mayor and the families under their payroll. They were running the spice. They were a good big bad, and they brought in the droidicas. You were just let down because there was no Crimson Dawn. For another example, if you watched WandaVision, if you're a Marvel fan and you watched WandaVision, that show, week to week, had crazy theories. Mephisto's going to show up. Doctor Strange is going to show up, and he's controlled by Mephisto. Who knows what's going on? But by the end of it, the finale was great. But nobody liked it because Mephisto didn't show up, because Doctor Strange didn't show up. You got your hopes way too high that you got WandaVisioned in the Book of Boba Fett. It's what happens. You got your hopes way too high for Crimson Dawn and Han Solo and Ben Solo. And maybe I was the problem. I was going, oh my god, Kiara's coming. Han Solo's coming. Ben Solo's coming. And it didn't happen. But the second time you go rewatch this episode, you'll be looking for Boba Fett riding a Rancor. You'll be watching for Cad Bane versus Boba Fett. It's Boba Fett's show, and it's what we got, and it was so exciting. Boba Fett riding a Rancor, Boba Fett versus Cad Bane, Boba and Mando flying around in jetpacks, the reunion of Grogu and Mando. It was such a good episode, but for the first time I watched it, I got let down because I had high expectations that Crimson Dawn and Kiara were going to show up, and maybe even Han Solo, and maybe even Luke Skywalker. And none of it happened, but it's Boba Fett's show, and it was such a good finale. So I think people just got WandaVisioned. That's what we're calling it. You got WandaVisioned. Go rewatch it again and have no hope that Crimson Dawn is going to show up, and you'll be like, oh my god, that episode was unbelievable. It was unbelievably good. It was. You just got WandaVisioned. You got WandaVisioned. Tell me what you think in the comments below. Did you like the episode? Because a lot of people are like, I hated the episode. And a lot of people are like, oh my god, that episode was so awesome. So tell me what you think in the comments below. Smash like if you like this video, hit subscribe, and hit that bell, because I'll be having videos breaking down this whole episode for weeks and weeks and weeks. And then we got Kenobi coming. We got Kenobi in May. And we got Andor in the fall, and we got Mando Season 3 come next winter. So don't forget to hit that bell and get notified every time I post a video. And may the Force be with you always.